The hideous face of bigotry, soil and blood, might makes right, nihilism, postmodernism, equitable treatment, fair representation, oppression, misogyny, misandry, hatred, misanthropy, cultural imperialism, fillings, ground principles, abortion, euthanasia, capital punishment, organ donation, gun possession, constitutionalism, patriotism, civic nationalism, ethno nationalism, self determinism, cultural appropriation, racism, racialism, race realism, sexism, biological sex, gender, gender expression, freedom of speech, identity, identitarianism, skin color, eye color, complexion,
religion, politics, treatment of non-human animals, veganism, speciesism, anti-Semitism, Zionism, anti-Zionism, Islamophobia, Islamophilia, white privilege, black privilege, female privilege, male privilege, police brutality, war on terror, war on drugs, war on Christmas, tradition, paganism, substrate of the culture, meaning and purpose, homophobia, heterophobia, tolerance of intolerance is cowardice, propaganda, ethnicity, nationality, culture, background, neo-Marxism, Stalinism, Maoism, cult of personality, anarchism, anarcho-fascism, libertarianism, socialism, communism, classical liberalism, society, civilization, the decay and abdication thereof, invasion, dream, nightmare, unquestioned authority, silencing, systems, deep state, democracy, tyranny of the majority, equality of opportunity, equality of outcome, equity, migration, war, famine, disease, carcinogens, abuse, natural disasters, climate change, global warming, global cooling, environmental pollution, dictatorship, censorship, liberté, égalité, fraternité, liberation, enlightenment values, norms and values, social contract, Hobbesian, Orwellian, aesthetics, ageism, respect, honor and dignity, transphobia, transphilia, sexually dimorphic species, scientific method, philosophy, inquiry, tribalism, discrimination, bias, pride and prejudice, social standing, caste, class, classism, suppression, evolutionary psychology, cultural Marxism, feminism, social justice warrior, men going their own way, men's rights activist, reactionary, conservative, liberalist, neocon, Lib Dem, ANCAP, neoliberal, alt-right, alt-light, alt-left, progressive, regressive, objectivity, subjectivity, the welfare state, determinism, fatalism, benefits, violence, secularism, separation of church and state, trias politicas, taxationist theft, socialized healthcare, breakdown of the nuclear family, weapons of mass destruction, sexually transmitted disease, vaccines, Islamic reform, Sharia law, Wahhabi, Salafi, antinatalism, pro-moralism, Satanism, Puritanism, dumbing down of the West, active dysgenics, obesity epidemic, hunter-gatherer society, tropes, memes, social constructivism, deconstructing existing power structures, dismantling the patriarchy, genetics and IQ, heritability,
espionage, in-group preference, seizing the means of production, ethical consistency, impeachment, referendum, the downfall of the West, aristocracy, advertising, winner takes all, privacy, corporatism, Pareto distribution, bell curve, redistribution, individualism, collectivism, visionary, revisionism, la revolution, safe space, trigger warning, social Darwinism, craniology, astrology, homeopathy, genetically modified organisms, oppression Olympics, rape culture, matriarchy, adoption, marriage equality, moral accountability, rights, responsibilities, altruism, dynamics, struggle, power. These are all potent notions and concepts. They are thrown around a lot in the intellectual arena these days. They are almost considered expletives. Guess what? We're not going to talk about any of them. The idea that we are going to discuss is far more pressing and ubiquitous than aforementioned notions and concepts. Moreover, it is more provocative and contentious than the sum of them all. Irish-Canadian philosopher Stefan Molyneux.
My name is Stefan Molyneux. I am not only a bald eagle, but also the host of the largest and most popular philosophy show in the world, Free Domain Radio, which you can find at freedomainradio.com.
Has dubbed the phenomenon childism. It is the worst possible form of bigotry ever conceived of, because its effects live on, as a hollow echo, eternally evermore into the future. What it all boils down to, universally, the world over, children are treated as second-class citizens. This transcends culture, whether you are in China, India, Suriname, Haiti, Mozambique, France, Denmark, or Mexico. Slapping one's misbehaving child on the cheek firmly with a flat hand is as accepted as spanking is, which is to say, completely condoned by society at large. Pedophilic predation by Catholic priests, Afghan soldiers anally raping young Afghan boys, whilst their American allies are instructed to ignore the screaming coming out of the army tents at night. Pakistani child grooming squads gang raping over 2,000 young British girls in the London borough of Rotherham. Merely 11 out of the 200 perpetrators were arrested. Instead, the people pointing out these vile crimes against young girls who are physically weaker than and consequently cannot compete with fighting-age Muslim perverts such as Katie Hopkins, Pat Condell, and Tommy Robinson, were arrested on the grounds of hate speech. Imams performing female genital mutilation, FGM. Jewish rabbis performing oral circumcisions where the blood is removed from the freshly chopped off foreskin via suction. Last year, 7 innocent newborn Jewish babies were infected with HIV/AIDS by their rabbi in this manner. In Ghana, slavery is rampant. Most of the slaves are, you guessed it, children. Other regions where child labour is commonplace include Vietnam and Bangladesh. Girls are treated like cattle in the Islamic and Hindu world, whence they are sold to rich family members for the expressed purpose of child marriage.
Detain my body, but you can't imprison my mind. If it's my time, I'll probably die with my fist in the sky. These are the thoughts of a man who can't escape from his coma. Cries of a young virgin girl who got raped by them soldiers.
Those are the words of Kareem Dennis, stage name Loki. Which brings us to our next point. Indoctrination. It is a symptom of a sick society. According to Varg Vikernes, the Nordic pagans built stave churches in reptilian theme because once they were Christianized, they saw the snake in the Garden of Eden as the good guy. They interpreted Yahweh as the bad guy. Like in the blockbuster The Matrix, God offers the blue pill, the lie, and the serpent offers the red pill, the truth, albeit a truth so hard to swallow, some would rather live in the bliss of ignorance than suffer becoming cognizant of it. On the day preceding the 2016 US presidential elections, small children throughout England were handed out Hillary Clinton badges at their respective primary schools. The day after, British children whose parents supported Donald Trump have reported being berated and shamed by their teachers, the very people who are supposed to care for them. Boys throughout Europe are told they are bound to become rapists someday. If they happen to be white, they will even be shamed for the crimes of their distant ancestors committed and with which they have nothing to do. Swedish and Canadian toddlers are reported to have been forced into transgenderism by their adoptive lesbian parents. Rowdy boys are diagnosed with ADHD at the whims of society, then drugged with Ritalin, a lifespan decreasing medicine that damages health and social skills. Black children in the US are frequently given the talk by their parents, basically telling them their home country is structurally racist and police officers are out to shoot them.
Did he say keep on taking our chicken?
Keep on taking our children and we gon'
children. Oh, children? Keep on taking our children. Is that a bucket of children?
So you better listen up. We gon' shut you down. Hands up, don't shoot. Cops gon' do.
Oh my god, fucking LA. Ew, I'm so glad I'm out of there. Look at this shit. In Viva de Nero, a Mexico Centro. What the Christ? Look at this, over here on the wall. You got just, who is that? Guadalupe? No vegetation, just cement. Look at that tree. There you go. There's your urban forest right there. Damn it, that's depressing. Look at the gum stains on the ground. Look at these straight thugs marching around threatening violence.
What they want to. Ain't nobody had a motherfucking gun yet. You can play the fool if you want to. A little different when somebody hits sirens.
You're jaywalking right now, sir. Currently committing a crime.
Nowadays, why? Cause it ain't peace. They wonder why my people get violent, but it ain't they child in the state sheets. A young mother.
Look at that fat tub of shit. Look.
This blatant lie is as clear a form of child abuse as any. What do we do about all this? Molyneux proposes the non-aggression principle. Child rearing should be a pleasant, mutually rewarding experience. Sigmund Freud explains how bad childhoods form the root cause of most pathology in society, including evil. Nevertheless, parents continue to take out their personal resentment and jealousy on their own children. This has historically also been the case. Spartan parents simply threw their children out of the home for the initial 3 years of their lives. If they managed to survive the harsh conditions, they were taken back in and given a name. The Spartans invented eugenics, if you wish to put it that way. Similarly, cruelly, during the Industrial Revolution, children were thought to require less sleep than adults, so sometimes they were forced to operate the dangerous factory machines for literally 22/6 as opposed to 24/7 from the age of reason onwards. Carl Jung divided the psychological aspect of the human condition up into 3 substrata: the id, the ego, and the superego. These tiers operate at different levels of awareness. The infantile id, the subconscious, is innocent and defenseless, although it can in part be blamed for Oedipal dysfunction, and therefore must be protected and cherished at any and all cost. The conscious ego manifests as feminine. The maternal instinct, when it comes to nurture, is bound to rely upon the ego. The ego oftentimes proves to be overprotective. As Professor Dr. Jordan Brian Peterson and Professor
Hey, how's it going, everyone? So today I have a very special guest, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. He's a professor of psychology at the University of Toronto and a practicing clinical psychologist. And I want to read just a little bit of a paragraph, just a little piece from his own website. Jordan Peterson has published more than 100 scientific papers transforming the modern understanding of personality and revolutionizing the psychology of religion in his now classic book, Maps of Meaning, The Architecture of Belief. As a Harvard professor, he was nominated for the prestigious Levinson Teaching Prize and is regarded by his current University of Toronto students as one of the 3 truly life-changing teachers. Dr. Peterson, thank you for coming on. And hearing that, is it safe to say, is it fair to say that you are considered a rock star now?
Well, my YouTube channel seems to have become very popular, and I've been, I mean, I hate to use that characterization, but there's been an explosion of media interest and then public interest in the sorts of things that, not only the sorts of things that I've been dealing with, say, sort of philosophically and politically, but also in the lectures that I'm putting up for people on YouTube, which I've been doing for about 4 years now.
As Dr. Gad Saad would phrase
Hi everybody, this is Gad Saad for the Sad Truth.
it, archetypically, women feed others and can consequently starve others. The hyperconscious superego manifests as masculine. The paternal instinct when it comes to caregiving is to fall back on the superego. Tough love, men protect. Consequently, men have the potential to kill. Children need an equilibrium between the ego and the superego to take care of their id, until they are fully developed and can stand on their own 2 feet.
Take a look at a boy like me. Never stood on my own 2 feet. Now I'm blue as I can be.
In the bygone epoch of yesteryear, there used to be a lot of tyrannical fathers, but most alpha males died off during the many wars in the 20th century, so different Y haplogroups became abundant in the gene pool. Currently, there are too many absent fathers and devouring mothers. If we collectively get our act together as an enlightened human race, we can transform them into benevolent goddesses and wise kings. Harry Kurt Victor Mulisch developed the concept of systematic activity. The 7 stages of every process in the universe are foundation, mask, descendants, denouement, destiny, horizon, and apex. The term octavity leaves room for an 8th, as of yet unknown, stage. The 4th stage, the climax, so to speak, can be considered the crucial node in any given process. In human life, that would be the rite of passage. Bat and bar mitzvah for young adults under Judaism, for instance. There is a more relevant stage, though. The very first stage has to constitute fertile soil to grow on. In Matthew 13, 1 through 23, Jesus explains this using the parable of the sower and the seed. Over 100 million innocent men, women, and children died in the 20th century. Austro-Hungarian Archduke Franz Ferdinand was shot. This kicked off the First World War, establishing the Weimar Republic, which in turn was economically ruined by reparations. The inflation in the interbellum allowed for Adolf Hitler to rise to a position of power. Alongside Benito Mussolini and Emperor Hirohito, he slaughtered 12 million in gruesome ways. The political pendulum swung back, and communism was swiftly implemented in massive swathes of the globe. This was easy, since anyone who did not espouse Marxist utopian ideals was instantly labelled a neo-Nazi sympathiser. As Hugh Long once wrote, the fascists of the future will be called anti-fascists. Alas, it came true. Had anyone raised their children to think for themselves and have the courage of conviction to stand up for their principles, Mao Zedong would have never risen to power. If our culture enticed truly intelligent women to have several children and discouraged those of lesser cognitive virtue from reproducing, instead of the other way around, our societies would not have dimmed down to the point of no return, where ignoramuses are able to democratically elect egotistic maniacs such as Robert Mugabe and Fidel Castro. Someone would have stood up and faced the genocidal tyrant Joseph Stalin. Alexander Solzhenitsyn is ostensibly the only individual out of all the sheep who did. United, we stand. Divided, we fall. Buckle up and raise your kid well. Do not punish unless warranted. Treat thine children with the respect one would ideally show an adult, lest ye open simultaneously Pandora's box, as well as the floodgates of dystopia and the portals of Hades' realm of Tartarus beyond the Styx. No one expresses this sentiment as eloquently as the late Christopher Hitchens did in his revision of the Ten Commandments, when he said,
Number 4, hide your face and weep if you dare to harm a child.